Greetings friends, sonictoast here, finally back. Thanks to everyone who watched my Sonic 30th anniversary dedication video. That video took a long time, so once it was done, I took a little vacation with my family, but now I'm back and ready to Sonic things up again. So, on Sonic's birthday, IDW released their 30th anniversary comic, and I tell ya, as a 30-year fan of the series, this comic hit all the right buttons. The comedy had me laughing out loud, the charming character interactions had me beaming with delight, and best of all, the references and Easter eggs had me geeking all over the place. And of course, after my last video, I had obscure Sonic characters on the mind, so seeing them pop up in this comic felt extra special. So the point of this video is to identify the fun Easter eggs and references and not to spoil any endings or plot points, so here we go. This comic takes place completely within the classic Sonic continuity, timeline, dimension, whatever you want to call it. So it was cool to see Bark, Bean, Fang, Mighty Ray, Tails Doll, and Metal Knuckles all back in action along with the hard-boiled heavies from Sonic Mania. But I want to focus on the less popular Sonic characters who show up here. Starting in the first panel of the first page, we see Tick-Tock, a badnik we haven't seen since Knuckles Chaotix. Then we have this badnik that is not from any Sonic games, but is based on Schleep from Sega's Knights series. Similarly, there's these bird badniks who are based on Hollows, also from the Knights series. Later, Knuckles is dizzy from being punched by Bark, and spinning around his head are little chicks wearing sunglasses. These guys are called Chirps, and they are from the game Flicky. Then we get these Eggcorn badniks, which appear to be based somewhat on Nebula from Sonic 2, kinda like Cactula from Sonic Mania. In that same panel, there's a scarecrow resembling Mr. Tinker, Eggman's alternate persona from the early issues of the IDW comics. When Bean gets dizzy after being hit by Metal Knuckles, two birds can be seen circling his head. These birds are Bin and Pin from the Sega game Dynamite Ducks, of whom Bean was originally a reference to. Along with Heavy King and the Motobugs, we can see Turbo Turtle from Sonic Mania. Later we see Robotnik sleeping on a beanbag, which is appropriately decorated with the beans from Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, who of course were based on the Puyos from the game Puyo Puyo. Also in that same panel, there's a Sonic the Fighter's arcade cabinet in the background, featuring Espio the Chameleon. Yes, Espio is not an obscure character, I just wanted to point this out because it's Espio's only appearance in this book. Later we see Fang, I'm still used to calling him Neck. Anyway, we see Fang shoot a treaded turtle badnik. This nameless turtle actually first appeared in the Archie comics in the Sonic Mega Drive Welcome to the Next Level comic. Shh! An Archie character made it into the IDW comic. Don't tell Sega. Wait, I totally missed this guy when I made my Every Character Ever video. Let's keep this between you and me, and let me know if you want to see a sequel video where I can include him. In the next panel, we see a snowman-bodied badnik who seems similar to Hi-Ho from Sonic & Knuckles. Then we also see Starpointer from Sonic 3, who I don't consider to be an obscure character, just thought I'd mention him though. In the next story, Sonic is taking his driving test, and on the street we see this rabbit character. Back when Sega was creating their mascot, this character was one who they considered, but they ended up going with a hedgehog instead. Similar, we see Max the Monkey from the scrapped Sonic the Hedgehog band walking the streets, and two characters who resemble Sharps the Parakeet. There's this bluebird who looks similar to some of the Sharps artwork, and what's funny is he has the yellow hair on top, which looks more like the popular fan art of Sharps by Spiral Chris on DeviantArt. Then there's this pink bird, who is no doubt based on this other Sharps artwork where he's wearing a vest. We also see Gazebo Bubowski from the cancelled game Sonic Extreme, and Gazebo is actually driving Robotnik's car from the game Waku Waku Sonic Patrol Car. Wait, does this mean Gazebo is now officially a Sonic character? Then inside the car are some magazines where we see the Sonic Bros from Puzzles Construction and the scrapped game Sega Sonic Bros. We also see Arms from Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine and Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. And last we see Cybernik, a robot from the scrapped game Sonic Saturn. Later we see a car being driven by Miss Wing, the teacher from the Sonic manga series. Similarly, Anton Veruca from the manga series can be seen driving his car. Later we see Fok Wolf from Tails Sky Patrol, and Boomer the Turtle, the character who is conceptualized to be Sonic's sidekick, however he was scrapped in favor of Tails. On the next page we have a lot of characters. There's Monica the Mouse from the manga series, the Flickies from Sonic 3D Blast, and this bird holding a stick from this artwork featured in Sonic the Screensaver and the 1994 calendar. There's also a painting of this pink bunny who was another character character conceptualized to be Sega's mascot, but rejected in favor of Sonic. Then we see some scrapped characters from the Sonic 1 concept art, like this villain, and the name Madonna, the scrapped damsel in distress character, this purple minion villain, and this hand villain. Then there's Omelets from the Sonic manga, Silver Sonic from the 8-bit Sonic 2, Pepepe from Sonic Labyrinth, and Night the Owl from the IDW universe shows up here. It's cool that Sega is allowing him to be in both modern and classic continuities. Motobug and Robotnik are seen here too, but who cares, they're common characters. And last we see a sticker of a happy star from Sega Sonic Cosmo Fighter. And speaking of driving, we can see on the RI variant cover, Amy is driving her car Breeze from Sonic Drift. The last story features the hard-boiled heavies and lots of badniks from Sonic 1, 2, 3, and CD who are pretty common, so we're not going to bother pointing them out. However, I do appreciate this story because it's an acknowledgement that it's Robotnik's birthday too and not just Sonic's. Now, let's point out some other cool references. Amy hits Sonic high into the air with her hammer. This is like her partner ability in Sonic Advance 3. Knuckles relaxes with the animal friends in Mushroom Hill Zone. This is just like the opening cutscene of Sonic and Knuckles. Amy finds Tails' Emerald Radar. The Emerald Radar is an ability Knuckles and Rouge had in the Sonic Adventure games. However, here it's a physical compass type machine, extremely similar to the Dragon Radar from the Dragon Ball series. Why not, right? Fang's vehicle, the Marvelous Queen, has 3 buttons indicating missile, drill, and spring abilities, all of which he used in the game Sonic Triple Trouble. It also has 2 sidecar attachments for Bark and Bean, just like it did in the Archie comics. When Sonic gets a Chaos Emerald, he holds it up sideways, making it look like the classic Chaos Emerald design. Also, when Sonic gets the Chaos Emerald, it floats above him as he shouts, "Ta-da-da-da!" the chime used when you collect an item in the Legend of Zelda series. Sonic Lost World for the Wii U had Legend of Zelda DLC back in 2013, and Sonic and Zelda are both represented in the Super Smash Bros. Series. Just felt like pointing that out. On Heavy King's radar, Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Mighty, and Ray are all represented by their Sonic Mania character icons. When Mighty and Ray run, they resemble their dash animations from Sonic Mania Plus. We see Sonic avoiding spikes and Knuckles fighting badniks, while Tails and Amy are on the side having fun. This is similar to Sonic Boom: The Rise of Lyric, when you play as Sonic and Knuckles and see Tails and Amy run by all happy, and Sonic says, "Well, I'm glad those two are having fun." Tails complains about Robotnik making Tails doll instead of a cool metal Tails. He made a similar complaint in the Archie comics. The layout inside Dr. Robotnik's base is very similar to the base in Episode 5 of Sonic Mania Adventures. When Fang gets hit, 3D stars circle his head. These are the stars from Sonic the Fighters. Mighty and Ray tap their Chaos Emeralds together in a toast. This is a throwback to when Sonic and Tails did this in Sonic Mania Adventures Episode 2. In the second story, there's an ornament of Sonic's ship from Sega Sonic Cosmo Fighter hanging from the mirror. There's an S on the front of the car from the original Sega logo. The license plate says SPC 1292. The SPC stands for Sonic Patrol Car, which was a Japanese arcade game. I believe the 1292 means December 1992. However, everything I can find says Sonic Patrol Car was released in December of 91. So go figure. The street signs look like the level headings from Sonic 1. The magazines in the back of the seat say Eraser, Music Maker, and World. These are references to the Sega Channel games Sonic Eraser and the Pico games Tails and the Music Maker and Sonic's Game World. Sonic gets a rank E on his driver test. This is a reference to the ranking system in the 3D Sonic games. A horse can be seen driving a car. That's the same car from this piece of classic artwork that was featured in Sonic the Screensaver and the arcade Sega Super GT from 1996. There's also a gorilla driving a green car that looks like Ricky's car from this classic artwork. Similarly, a pink dog is driving a gray car inspired by this other car Sonic is driving in this classic artwork. They drive by M. Adams Schoolhouse. The schoolhouse logo is taken from Sonic Schoolhouse. M. Adams is a reference to Martin Adams, the pseudonym author of the Sonic novel series in the UK. Monica is working at the popcorn shop, which is practically identical to Sega Sonic Popcorn Shop, the Japanese arcade/popcorn machine. Also, the logo says G Blast. This is a reference to the game Sonic Blast, which was called G Sonic in Japan. In the air we see hot air balloons and a blimp. These kinds of aircrafts are often seen in the skies of classic Sonic artwork. There is a Dreams Come True poster from the 1990 tour in Japan, the first known public appearance of Sonic. The Sonic Spinball version of the tornado can be seen fly by. Also flying by is the tornado from the conceptualized Sega Saturn version of Sonic Adventure. This is still part of the classic era because they were still in their classic designs in these early concepts for Sonic Adventure. Speaking of Sega Saturn, Night the Owl's microphone is the Sega Saturn logo. He's also using the SC3000, the only personal computer to be made by Sega. The TV behind him is actually a Sega Terra Drive. And with that Terra Drive are Sega Genesis speakers, and the logo behind him says UFO Labyrinth. The UFO part is the logo taken from UFO Sega Sonic, a Japanese UFO catcher or claw machine as we call it here in the States. The Labyrinth part is taken from the Japanese Sonic Labyrinth logo. On the back of the car, there's a sticker saying visit Jade Gully. Jade Gully was a scrapped level from the scrapped game Sonic Extreme. And finally, the bell sticker on the back of the car is from Tails Sky Patrol. Speaking of bells, if you aren't already, please subscribe and ring the bell so you can be notified for future Sonic Toast videos. In the last story, Eggman's birthday, his home looks kinda similar to the main headquarters from the Saturday AM cartoon Sonic Underground and the early Archie comics. Robotnik's pajamas are the ones he wore in the Man of the Year animated short. The pajamas from his concept art can be seen in his closet. In the shower, he sings a song with similar lyrics to the Saturday morning Sonic theme song, except he's singing about himself instead of Sonic. There's a Sega Genesis on his desk. Robotnik calls his badniks nincompoops, a not so endearing term he often used on Scratch and Grounder in Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. And that's everything. Or is it? If I missed any fun references or Easter eggs, let us know in the comments section below. Please subscribe, ring the bell, and have a super Sonic-y day. Thanks for watching. Toast!